Hello and welcome to my super messy reloading bench. I'm not going to make any excuses. I recognize how messy it is and how little room I have to work with. But I am working on 7.62 NATO, or 308. I prefer to call it 308, call it what you will. But I'm going to show you what the worst components you can get combined with the worst rifle you can I was going to say the worst rifle you can possibly use, but in this case, it's the worst rifle that I actually have, and it's the worst rifle I have by orders of magnitude, and that's why I use it to work up a load. That'll come later on in the video, but I'll show you what I've got. So I've got this is a mixture of brass. We've got I've been trying to pull it out, but this is FC 308 Winchester, but it seems to have a machine gun rim on it. So I've tried to pull those out, and I'm going to be using this is FC, just says 308 Winchester on it, but it's got a normal rim. I have no idea what the primers are, but I assume that they're just standard large rifle, which should be fine. So these have been resized, and then I found that they didn't fit very well into my case gauge here. So I roll size them, and then I resize them again, and they still don't fit into my case gauge. So, however, I know that they're good cases, and I will still use them. And when you get to see the rifle, you'll understand why. So that's the brass. I know this brass will feed into the rifle. I am using pull down ball powder. So whatever it came from, it was 30-06, 180 grains soft point, and was loaded to 56.6 grains. So that's the history powder. It is a ball powder, so again, worst powder possible. It's pull down powder. And I am using, if you could see that, I am using, so again, you could use fired ammunition, I guess, wouldn't work out very well, but these projectiles, I've got two here, it looks like. I'll put up a picture, but even the projectiles are from a different batch. So it says 147 grains on there, but I think some are 150 grains. Again, it's a terrible mixture, using the worst components possible, but this is just shooting ammunition. And not only that, I can load 308 for less than I can buy 7.62 by 39. So 308, 223 are about the only, except for rare rounds, are the only ammunition that I can load for less than I can buy it for. 9mm is just, I couldn't even imagine trying to get the price down to what you can buy it for. Reloading, you'd have to load tens of thousands, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to load up some test rounds. I'm going to work up my powder charge, and in the next video you'll get to see the rifle in action and how the reloading works out for me. Well, I finished my load workup, and here we are in the wonderful Arizona desert. You can always tell it's Arizona because there's always slightly more garbage than the last time you were out here. I hope my audio is working out all right. I was telling you about my worst rifle, which I like to do my test loads in. So this is a Setme Sporter 308 Cal. Now, this thing is profoundly questionable if you look at it. This was a ban era rifle, and the person I bought it off of, I bought it about 20 years, no, more than 20 years ago now, just at the end of the ban, and the person who had it had taken the think it was a muzzle brake or fake, and whatever was on there. Taken it off, put on the original or an original flash hider, but that thing never stayed on, so don't really care. So why do I use this rifle? It's because I have found, and your mileage will vary, there's no question about that. I have found that anything that will cycle this rifle will cycle all of my other rifles. And if anything happens to this rifle, I don't really care. It's not a valuable item that I couldn't replace. Now I know people are saying, well, you work up your load for your rifle. This is true, but this is not a hunting rifle or a target rifle, and this is just shooting ammunition. If you're hunting or target shooting, you're not going to use just mil surplus or whatever junk you can find. This is just for plinking ammo. And yes, if you're going to do a proper load for a particular rifle, you build up the load for that rifle. So that's my story about the worst .308 I have, and it's orders of magnitude worse than my next one up. So I'm going to move the camera down range and pray that I don't shoot it, and we'll see how this one prints. Well, there was a lot of hope and prayers that I didn't shoot my camera, but well, it strings vertically, or I string vertically. That's actually a pretty bad group. But my eyesight's terrible. The ammunition is terrible. I'm going to continue. That didn't cycle the rifle every time, but I'm going to continue. And for a garbage rod, you know, that's not bad for just shooting. Wonder what's going on here.
The FAL, too tricky, too powerful. The G3, just plain too powerful. The AR, pretty good for trained troops, but the AK is the one-size-fits-all for your personal roving ragtag band of state college-educated, hard drug, hyped-up warlords.
I finished working up my load. I've decided to go with 48 grains of ball powder. You can see this is what happens when you use that. Those bulk pulled bullets, these three on the end here have a different shape projectile. They're probably 150 grains, but I'm still loading them with 48 grains of ball powder. They work fine. Everything was worked up. The load was worked up in the Century Sporter. I have here a Mars Setme Sport. These two are functionally equivalent. The only difference between them is aesthetics. I know Century has a bad reputation and it's deserved, but in this case, this Setme Sport worked fine, and it will continue to work fine for, I assume, many years. But that's how I work up my loads. Is I use a a functionally perfect rifle. Might not be pretty looking, but it gets the job done. And then I use the safe ammunition in everything else.